Macanudo's M Coffee did not impress us. Hopefully, the M Bourbon will impress us. Today on TCN. The M Bourbon by Macanudo is less about being a bourbon-infused cigar and more being an old-fashioned, stating that they have infused it with bourbon, cherries, and bitters. Looking over this guy, its wrapper and binder are both from Ecuador, and its fillers from the Dominican. Unfortunately, it's hard to find a good review for this guy, so I'm going to go off a very small one who had talked about how through the smoke he had tasted creamy notes, nutty notes, and some leather. And he gave this guy a 9.3 out of 10. So realistically, a 93. He sounded like he really enjoyed it, but he paired it with bourbon, where I will just be using water. Jumping in the dry puff, I definitely taste chocolate and the bitters, but I'm not really tasting the old-fashioned. I'm not getting the cherry or the bourbon. And on top of that, the sweet tip, non-existent really. I was going to jump into thirds, but I noticed as I was smoking it that the flavors didn't really change through the thirds, but rather just certain flavor profiles either became more potent or less potent. So we're going to talk about that. Going over the thirds, I'm going to say there's really only two flavor profiles. There's charred wood and sweetness. And originally, you start off with the sweetness, that's kind of charred wood, and as you work your way through the smoke, the charred wood slowly builds more and more until you reach the end when the sweetness is gone and you just have this very potent flavor profile in your mouth. Before I jump in the ranking, I could definitely see how having a really good bourbon paired with the cigar could work out. Unfortunately, these reviews aren't about pairing, they're about the cigar by themselves. And by himself, this cigar does not do well. I'm giving him a 48. I think it's a nudge away from average, but still a little bit behind its coffee counterpart, and still not that great. Let's talk about the construction, the burn, and the draw. I would say it was all good. Construction was good, ash held nicely, the burn was straight, and the draw was smooth. Nothing to complain about, nothing to write home about. Price range, you can find this guy online for the $7 range, or at your local brick and mortar in the $10 range. Is the cigar noob friendly? I'm going to say yes. I would say really any infused cigar could be a noob-friendly cigar, and I definitely see someone brand new to the cigar thinking, oh hey, this is a bourbon cigar, I'm going to have bourbon with it. And I think that it would be a dynamite pairing that could bump this cigar up into the 80s, really. But by itself, it doesn't stand well. Review comparisons, I'm going to say none. I tasted sweetness in charred wood, where he had tasted creaminess, nuttiness, and leather. So, what can you do? But you have to remember that I did the cigar by itself, where he did the cigar with bourbon. As a final little note, I gotta say, the M by Macanudo Cafe and Bourbon, they've both been cigars I haven't really enjoyed, and I really think are average. But I do encourage you, go out and try them because everyone has a different palate. But personally for me, I'm kind of spoiled with the whole Drew Estate Acid, Deadwood, Ambrosia line that offers this super sweet, fantastic infusion and sweet tip. But hey, that's all I got for this time. So why don't you like, subscribe, go down to the bottom, tell me how you like your cigars infused. Do you like them nice and potent like the acid cigars? Or do you like them kind of mild like these Macanudos? And I'll see you guys next time.